All right, night number 2 in the Beis Medrash, Baruch Hashem. We're learning Maseches Shabbos of Kuf, Chaf, Ches, Amud Aleph. I'd like to announce, as I forgot last night, that the learning tonight, which should have been last night, is the Ilui Nishmas Mordechai Zev and Masud. That's Tomer Biton's father, grandfather. I know the Beis Medrash has been dedicated in his memory. He Ratzon, his neshama should have an aliyah. So we're going to be starting on the bottom of Kuf Chav Zayin Amud Beis, about Kuf Chav Ches Amud Beis, about 12 lines. Good thing you caught me there before I started plugging away on the wrong dot there. Wouldn't be the first time I did that. About 12 lines from the bottom at the 2 dots, Miyaldin Asaisha. We had spoken about whether or not it's permissible to help an animal deliver a child. And yesterday we spoke about the fact that there are some brises that indicate that we're allowed to assist in the process, either by catching the animal that's being born or by pressing on the animal, on the mother, to push the baby out. One of the two is permissible. But of course, as it relates to a woman who's giving birth, that is obviously going to be permissible in light of 100 reasons, not the least of which would be pikuach nefasha. So let's see what the Gemara means by this. 12 or so lines from the bottom. Michti. Tanale, we learned miyaldin ha'isha, that we can help her birth. We can make that phone call. We can send a message to make sure that the midwife can be there on time. And then after that, you're going to tell me, hey, by the way, you could also be Mechal Shabbos. Been there, done that. What are you talking about? We're already past that point. So it says the Gemara, La Suye Mai, it must be to teach me something unique. Answers the Gemara, La Suye Hadatana Rabban, and that which we learned in the times of the Tanaim. That if the woman, if the chaya, the woman who's giving birth, needs a candle, so the halacha is that her friend can light a candle for her straight up, just grab a match. If she needed oil, she can take a palm full, like just pour some in her hand, and carry it to her. If there isn't enough oil, if the birthing mother, if the woman who's delivering needs more oil than what can be held in the palm of one's hand, then mevia b'sa'ara, she could bring it in her hair. Havamina, that she absorbs it in her hair and then walks through whatever rishus harabim she needs to, and then is again squeezed out of her hair later. We'll see soon. That's a machlokes amoraim. V'imeno sipek b'sa'ara, if the amount that can be absorbed in her hair isn't sufficient, then she can just straight up do the isser. Mevia la b'kli. She just bring a pitcher of oil, whatever you need. Bring a whole bottle of canola. Omar Mar, what did we see in the source in the Tanaim? That her friend is allowed to light the candle first. Says the Gemara, Pshit, of course. She's a chaya. She's in the midst of delivering a baby. Everything's pikuach nefesh here. We don't mess around. She needs a candle. She gets a candle. No problem at all. Says the Gemara, lo. That's not the understanding. Tzricha besuma. What if the woman giving birth is blind and she says, I want a candle? What good does the candle do? So says the Gemara, maybe you would have argued that the woman who's birthing can't see. So if she who can't see is saying, please get me a candle, come on, that's just too far. What is this, like open, it's just open mic night. You could just do whatever you want. It's too much. It doesn't make sense. Kamash malan, isuve mesva daita. If it's going to give her menuchas hanefesh, if it's going to give her a sense of calm, permissible. Savra, what is this woman thinking? If something is going wrong with me, I'm blind, I can't see the difference, but if something's going wrong with me, my friend who's with me will see that there's something wrong. Very practical, very practical. This is quoted in Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch writes that if it is mesiv daita, if it releases her anxieties, even if it's an Isser Deoraisa, it is then permissible to violate that Isser under those circumstances. It applies, of course, to other circumstances of Pikuach Nefesh, that where one's Isser Deoraisa will provide a relief to that person on an emotional front, that is considered to be perfectly fine as it relates to Pikuach Nefesh on Shabbos. 5 lines from the bottom, Kuf Chav Ches Mid Beis. You said it absorbs in her hair. Well, great, you avoided the Isser of carrying, but Teipuk Le Mishum Schita. Now you got to get the oil out of your hair and you're squeezing it out. Okay, so we paskin that Schita is only an Isser Daraisa by grapes and by olives. So it's an Isser Darabanan, but okay, I mean, the Eruvin that we have are also Isser Darabanan. You violate one Isser Darabanan to replace for another. It doesn't make any sense. That's a Machlokas Amoraim. Rabba the Rav Yosef, Damri Tarvayu, Ein Schita B'Seyar. Shita that's mentioned in the Rishonim with regularity, that they hold that there is no Schita B'Seyar. Our hair does not absorb. This was a word I learned in chemistry. It adsorbs. It doesn't get absorbed, gets swallowed up in a sponge, but it's like when you touch water and there's a little piece of water on the outside of your finger. It doesn't absorb, it adsorbs. So hair is kind of like that too, but not according to this shita. According to this shita, Yes, according to this sheet, there's no such thing as schita. You can't squeeze it out. It's never been absorbed. Ravashi Amar, you cannot learn that from here because I could even have argued that this source in the Tanaim, which says that she should carry this oil in her hair, that we still might hold that yesh schita b'seir. How so? Because she didn't absorb the oil in her hair. Mevi'alak b'kli derech sa'ara. She tied up this kli in her hair in a halachically permissible way of kosher, so that she wouldn't have to actually carry the oil with a kli. The kama de efsher l'shanuye nishaninan, because when we are going to try to deviate from isurim, when we're trying to do a shinui, we significantly try to deviate in any meaningful. Now, let's be super clear. If it adds a second and generates even a moment of risk, you're an avarya. We don't do shinuyin to the point of risk. That's not the point here. And in fact, the Shulchan Aruch also writes that if on Shabbos you start being mechalek, well, I'm not sure if it's a safek pikuach nefashos. I'm not sure if yes, if no, you're a chote. You're a rotzeach. We do not do that. If there's, and this halach l'maisa, anything that is a suffix of health on Shabbos, of real sakanas nefashos, you don't ask any questions at all. Act now, ask later. That is ladina, and referenced here in this Gemara a little bit in a strange way, though, because it says here that we do every shinui that we can. But to be clear, even the Gemara here does not mean any shinui to the point of fault. It doesn't mean to the point of danger. Amar Yehuda Mar Shmuel Chaya, Kol Zman she'hakever pasuach. When do we say that a woman is a chaya, that she's in the stage of birthing? Kol Zman she'hakever pasuach, for as long as the uterus is open, is dilated. During that time, Bain amra tzricha ani, bain lo amra tzricha ani. Whether or not she says she needs help, we don't care. We are mechalelin aleh as Shabbos. If she needs something, she says, no, I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to push. I'm not ready to have a baby, but we know that she's dilated. End of conversation. We don't care what she says. We do whatever is necessary to save her, to save the baby. Nistam hakever. After the baby is born, so now the uterus begins to contract back to its normal size. And the Pesach, the opening of the kever, begins to close. Bain tzricha, bain amra tzricha ani, bain lo amra tzricha ani, ein mechalelin aleh as Shabbos. That's shita number one. And that is according to, as we will see, Rav Ashi Masni Hachi. That's how he understood things. That if the kever is now closed, if the uterus is now closed, so then we do not violate Shabbos for her. However, Mar Zutra, third line, Kuf Tes Medal, Mar Zutra Masni Hachi learned a little differently. Amar Yehuda Mar Shmuel Chaya. When do we treat her like a woman who's birthing? Kol Zman she'hakever pasuach, bein amra tzricha ani, ubein amra ein tzricha ani, mechalelin as Shabbos. If the uterus is dilated, then we treat her to be pikuach nefashos no matter what happens. We violate Shabbos. We don't care what she says. She says, don't help me. We say, too bad. Too bad. You're in pikuach nefesh land. We do whatever is right. Lo amra tzricha ani. Now, nistam hakever. Nistam hakever. If the kever closes up a little bit, amra tzricha ani. Here, this is different than the first understanding. Before we said that once it's nistam hakever, that we ignore her as well, that even if she needs help, we don't help her on a Torah level. Here, this shita of Mar Zutra splits the Nistam HaKever into two worlds. Amra tzricha ani, if after the baby is born, but Nistam HaKever, that she's no longer dilated. So then, if she says, I need help, nechalelin aleh es Shabbos, but lo amra tzricha ani, if she says, I don't need any help, then ein nechalelin aleh es Shabbos. That's the distinction. Amar lei, Ravina lemeremar, Mar Zutra masni lekula. Mar Zutra was more lenient. Ravashi masni lechumra. Ravashi was more strict. Hilcha sakeman. Who do we paskin like? Amar le halacha kemar Zutra safek nefashos lehakel. This is mamish the sugya of COVID-19. Safek nefashos lehakel. And the poskim write that whenever there is any safek nefashos, and the Rishonim add, even if there's a sveka of pikuach nefashos, meaning it's not 50-50, it's 25% chance. Whatever the actual numbers are in halacha they may not play out that way. But if you have a suffix of a suffix, so then we begin to uproot halachos right and left because of pikuach nefesh. That's why all the shuls closed, and that's why we're still in this funky state. That's why we're still doing backyard weddings and backyard brisim and all these unique modifications. It's because of this principle of suffix nefashos lahakel. Unlike those that some in the outside world who've chosen on their own that we don't believe in COVID, we don't have the right to do that. We have Rabban and poskim chashuvim. If there's a suffix bikuach nefashos, and that's a higher level than what we're dealing with. We have even a sveka, so we're still going to be makbid. Okay, 7, 8, 9 lines down. Kuf Chav Tes Amud Aleph. How do we know when there's dilation? Nowadays, we know that there's dilation because a woman will go to her doctor and she'll say, you're 3 centimeters dilated. So how do we establish that back in the day? Omar Abaye, when she sat on, today it would be equivalent to the bed upon which a woman births, but it was a type of stool that a woman would sit on when she was ready to give birth. From the time that she begins to bleed with regularity during contractions, when she starts to be carried by her friends from her arms, namely she can't even walk anymore. She's enough of a mess as it relates to having contractions. She can't walk anymore. This is halacha l'maisa. We have a principle in halacha of ein psichas hakever below dam. Very, very important halacha for women who are having children. Of ein psichas hakever below dam. If a woman is having contractions to the point that she's close to giving birth, and there's psichas hakever, we treat her as a nida. Why? Because ein psichas hakever below dam. We don't assume that the uterus could open with contractions to the point that she's not a nida. And at that point, her husband can no longer casually touch her. Obviously, it's medically a discussion, and that's a separate conversation. But we treat her as a nida once she has significant contractions, and there's psichas hakever because ein psichas hakever below dam. The second 2 lines before the wider lines, ad masai psichas hakever. How long does this phase last for? Amar Abaye shlosha yamim. It lasts for, halachically speaking, 3 days. Rava Amar Mishmei de Rabbi Yehuda Shiva, last 7 days. Ve'amrei la. Some say that he said it wasn't 7, but it was 30. Amrei Nahardai, and they said in the city of Naharda, no, it's stages. It's not 3 separate shitas. What are the stages of birthing where we treat a woman to be psichas kever, that she still has an open uterus? Chaya, what's her birthing status? Gimel, Zayin, Velamed. There's a stage of up to 3 days, up to 7 days, and up to 30. Let's see what they are. Gimel, first at the middle with lines. Gimel, up to day 3, Bein Amra Tzricha Ani, Uvein Amra Lo Tzricha Ani, Mechalin Alesa Shabbos, after the baby's born. She says, I don't need your help, or I do need your help. We don't care what she says. We're going to help her. She's in Safek Pikuach Nefashos land. By the way, she eats on Yom Kippur during this phase. This is the Gemara from which we learn that a woman who is in this phase, that she is obligated, she's not allowed to fast on Yom Kippur, Pikuach Nefashos. Okay, that's Gimel. Next, Mechalin Shabbos. Second of the wider line, Zayin. What about up to day 7? Amra tzricha ani. If she says I need help, then mechalelin alesa Shabbos. Then we do violate Shabbos. Amra lo tzricha ani. I don't need you. Ein mechalelin alesa Shabbos. Very good. What about up to day lamed? Up to day lamed, namely anything after day 7, so day 8 and on, right? Afilu amra tzricha ani. Ein mechalelin aleha esa Shabbos. There we don't help her. We don't do that because she's already outside of the period of psichas hakever. So now we no longer treat her as a person who is in a status of pikuach nefashos. Aval, however, osin al yadei arma'e, we do allow for a goy to be involved in assisting with that which she needs. Good. Kid Rab Ula. This is like the opinion of Rab Ula Berei de Rab Ilai. De Amar, he said, Kol tzorchei chole nasan al yadei arma'e b'Shabbos. Anyone who is a chole, doesn't say here about a chaya, about a woman who's birthed, anyone who has a din of a chole, you are allowed to rely on a goy to assist you when you are a chole. Rav Hamnuna, another shita in the Amoraim, Rav Hamnuna, davar she'ein bo sakana, omer lanachri ve'ose. Even if it's chole she'ein bo sakana. This happened to me once on Shabbos, crushing migraine. All my medicine was in my car on Shabbos. I couldn't find a goy. It was not so pleasant. But that would have been mutter under the circumstances to ask a goy. It's davar she'ein bo sakana. Would have been nice if someone could have opened my car for me. Amar about halfway down. Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel l'chaya lamed yom lemay hilchasa. Wait a minute. If everything after day 7 is we don't listen to you anyways, so what's lamed? Right? You said it's in stages. It's day 3, day 7, and day 30. I got up to day 3 and I got up to day 7. But once you hit day 8, everything later is the same din, which is nothing. We don't help you anymore on a doraisa level. A go yes, but we as Yidden can't help. So lamed yom lemay hilchasa. Says the Gemara, Amri Naharda, what they said in Naharda was litvila. Take a look at Rashi, the 5th line of Rashi, top of the page. Rashi, Dibur Hamaschil litvila ad lamed yom lo sitvo mipnei atzina. A woman should not go to the mikvah within 30 days of having a child, mipnei atzina, because it will give her the chills. It'll make her ill in some way. Says the Gemara, back to right in the middle of the page where we are. Amar Rava says, when is it true that she can't go to the mikvah? Lo amran ela she'ein ba'ala ima. That's only true when her husband is not there. He can warm her. Aval ba'ala ima. But if he is in fact with her, then ba'ala machamama. That's okay. It's actually interesting that Rava was the one to quote that din because of this exact story. Ki ha debarte de Rav Chizda. The daughter of Rav Chizda married Rava. Tavla begot lasin yomin shelo bifnei baila v'itzdenias. She went to the mikvah, but go within 30 days of having a baby, not in front of her husband, and she got the chills. She got a fever, whatever she had. The Amtavoy Arsa, they took her bed and they dragged her Basre to Rava Pumpadisa, and they went to go bring her to Rava to warm her because they were afraid that she was already getting into a situation of danger. So they brought her to Rava so that he could warm her. No indication here of intimacy, just a question, maybe physical warmth. It doesn't seem to be. This is like Avishag Hashunami. It's like the story in Tanakh where the Lo Yada that he wasn't intimate with her. She was Mamash Sochenes. Her job was to warm. So maybe something similar. Could be. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Mar Shmuel, Osin Medura L'chai b'Shabbos, you are allowed to make a bonfire for a woman who is birthing on Shabbos, who's in the status of birthing. Again, we've discussed from the beginning of Psichas HaKever until 3 or 7 days, whichever one. Good. So it says the Gemara, skipping the parentheses, says the Gemara, Savor Mina, what do we infer from this line of Rabbi Yehuda Mar Shmuel, who says that only by a woman who's a chaya, who's giving birth, by her we say you can give a medura, that you can make a bonfire? Says the Gemara, hold on one second, l'chaya in l'chol alone. Seems to be that it's only true when you're giving birth, but a regular chola, you can't do that. What if you're chola sheyesh bo sakana? You can't light a fire for that person? You should be able to. Bimosag shamim in, only in the winter, bimosag chamalo, you should that too. So says the Gemara, skipping the parentheses, itmar, but we have a line that answers this question. Amar Rav Chia bar Avin, Amar Shmuel, hikis dam v'nitztanin. If a person did akazas dam, they did bloodletting and they got very cold, what do we do for that person? Osen lo medura, b'tkuvas tammuz. Even in the depth of the summer, that's where we are right now. But b'tkuvas tammuz, it's very, very warm. It's hot outside. Afal that it's warm outside, we allow for the people tending to this person who just had bloodletting to light up a torch. What do we see? That when Rabbi Yehuda Mar Shmuel said that for a chaya that you can light a medura, it's not only for a chaya that you can light a medura. It's anyone who is a chola sheyesh bo sakana, that has a meaningful sakana, that you are allowed to light that fire. In fact, Shmuel tzalchule tachtika deshaga, he would break up a particular wood of a chair to get the wood type was called shaga, and he would use that to build the medura for someone who was sick. Remember, we learned this earlier in the Masechta that Shmuel was a doctor, so he was already he was the rabbi doctor model, where he was paskening shilas for people who were sick. You're bloodletting, you're not feeling well, break up the wood, put it in the fire, build a medura. Says the Gemara, not only him, Rabbi Yehuda tzalchule pesora de yavna, he broke up this type of cedar wood. The Rabba tzalchule sharshifa, he would break up a bench and throw the bench wood into the fire for a medura for people who were bloodletting and who were not feeling well. What? All of a sudden you can just get to break a bench whenever you want? I don't understand. Why is that allowed? I would rather not waste my body, thank you very much. If I'm ill, and the option is for me to do Baal Tashlis by breaking down a chair or a bench and using the wood for fuel, or if I'm going to get sick and die, I think I'd rather the chair be the one that goes instead of me. So the Rishonim have a hard time understanding what was Abaye asking. Of course Baal Tashlis falls to the wayside against health. Of course. What kind of question is that? Pikuach nefashos over breaking a chair? We just discussed lighting a medura 30 seconds ago. You're lighting a fire, which is havara mamish. One of the only of the 39 malachos has a pasuk in the Torah, mutter v'mutter. But you're afraid about what was Abaye asking Bichlal? So some of the Rishonim say is that they were breaking the wood before they knew that they were going to get sick. That's how some of the Rishonim answer. That's why Abaye was saying, wait a minute, wait till you get sick to break it. You're breaking it before you get sick? That's Baal Tashlis. That's not okay. That's not okay. Let's continue. We are about 2/3 of the way down. Says the Gemara, Amar Yehuda Marav, Le'olam yimkor adam koros beisav yikach min olam l'raglo. Very, very important to own a pair of shoes. You should even sell parts of your home to do so. And at the same time, hikis dam ve'ein lo ma yochal, if you did bloodletting, but you don't have any food to eat afterwards, a critical step in the process. If you're going to do bloodletting, you have to eat afterwards. So if you don't have food, then yim korminolim, that even that which we said you have to sell your furniture for, but if you did akazas dam, you even sell your shoes. V'yaspik mehen tzarchei seuda. My tzarchei seuda, what is the food that you're supposed to eat after bloodletting? Machlokes in the Amoraim. Rav Amar Basar, you should go eat a steak. Shmuel Amar Yain, go have a nice bottle of wine. Rav Amar Basar, Nafsha Chalaf Nafsha. You took out blood, which is the nefesh. You need to eat a nefesh. You need to eat meat, which used to be an animal. Shmuel Amar Yain, Sumka Chalaf Sumka. Sumka is the color red. The blood is red and the wine is red. Of course, that would mean that you can only drink red wine under the circumstances. Let's continue. Shmuel b'yom Davad Milsa. within the context here of Avad Milsa, he did a thing. This is a reference to bloodletting. When Shmuel did bloodletting, Avdale Tavshila de Tachla, he would eat spleen. Rabbi Yochanan Shasi, he would drink wine. Ad denafik tehaya meone, until the wine was coming out of his ears. Metaphors. Rav Nachman Shasi ad de kafe tachle, until his spleen was floating, a remarkable amount of wine. Rav Yosef Shasi ad denafik merivda de kuslisa, out of the scab from the bloodletting. That's where the wine, you drank so much. Rava mehader achamra bar tlasa tarfe. Rashi here has a couple of perushim here. Basically, it's wine that's a few years old, a nice. I don't have to keep wine in a casket, whatever it is. It was 3 years old in a barrel, whatever they did. Amar lahu Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak the Rabbanan b'matusa minaychu. Please, my dear Talmidim, please, when you do bloodletting, b'yoma de hakaza, when you do bloodletting, imru lebisaychu, please tell your wives Nachman ikla, that your Rebbe Nachman is coming over for the meal. Rashi, just about halfway down. Dibur Hamaschil Amru Nachman Ikla Legabon. Hirbu Beseuda Ki'ilu Ani Soed Etzlachem. It's Ki'ilu. I'm not actually coming over. I'm not going to all your homes. But please tell your wives that I am coming over. I want them to cook up a storm. And says the Gemara 3 lines before the widest lines. V'chulhu Arume Asire. Any types of harama, these loopholes in halacha, this slight dishonesty of telling them that Reb Nachman's coming for dinner, you tell your wife, Reb Nachman, it's not true. It's a ha'arama. But I want to make sure that you're cooking food because you did bloodletting. So then, asire, they're all forbidden to do them, bar mehai, except for this arma deshari, except for this loophole, which we do allow. Man de avad milsa, someone who did bloodletting, below efshar lane, he has no food. Here's what he should do. Lishkal zuzah maka. He should take a worn down zuz. The Meforshim explained this is like the asimon we saw yesterday. Remember we learned that when you do a pigeon onto a coin, but the coin has no tzura, so we said that was a pigeon shalokidin. So if you have this kind of coin, it doesn't even count. It's like a quarter that has no image on it anymore. No stores will take that. I mean, they might, but no stores should take that currency. It's worn down. So here's what you should do. You should take that coin, and veleza l'shav chanusa, you should go to 7 stores, and you should sample a little bit of meat. And then when you give them this coin, they're going to say, your coin, your currency is invalid. It says the Gemara, veleza l'shav chanusa, you're going to go to 7 stores, until you have 7, until you eat a revi, until you can drink a revius, and then you're good to go. You're not able to do that. Then what's the lowest bar that you should do after bloodletting? Lechol shav tamre ukmasa. You should eat 7 black dates. You should take the oils from them and rub it on the temples of your head. B'nigne b'shimsha. You should lay down in the sun. And that is how you should take care of yourself under the circumstances if that's the only thing that you have to eat. Says the Gemara first to the widest line. Avlet, this was a person's name. Ashkeche l'shmuel. Tigani b'shimcha. Avlet was a guy. He was an astrologer. The Rishonim points out. Avlet, Ashkeche l'shmuel. Tigani b'shimsha. He was sleeping in the sun. Omar le, chakima de Yehudai bisha mihavatava. You who are sleeping in the sun, can something so bad become good? This is something that is, I think Rashi here points this out. I didn't make a mark here. Let me just try to find it quickly. No, I don't see it. Yep, bisha mihavatava chom hashemeshu kasha la'adam klum metivlo. Being in the heat is not good for you. So this guy Avlet is saying to Shmuel, what are you doing sitting in the sun all day? It's not good for you. We know nowadays that there are some dangers to that as well. Bisha mehavatava, this bad sun that you're sitting in is going to be good. Omar le yoma de akazahi. I did bloodletting. I needed to get a little bit of sun. So, but really says the Gemara Velohi, that wasn't actually why he said that. He actually had a different reason why he was sitting in the sun. Ella ika yoma. There's one time the male ba shimsha bekulashata. There's one day in the year when the sun is perfect, and that day is Yoma de Nafla Beit Kufas Tammuz, in the heart of Tammuz. Although there is a gears to change here according to sun, it's not Tammuz, it's Teves, a different part of the season, the other equinox, the other solstice. This Savar Lo Iglile, but I didn't want to tell this to this astrologer. I didn't want to give this to him. Fine. Let's continue. We're 6 lines from the bottom. Rav Shmuel Damre Tarvayu Kol Hamekil B'Seudas Hakozas Dam Mekilum Lo Mezanoso Min Hashamayim. If a person is lenient on the meal that should follow Hakozas Dam, that follows bloodletting, then in Shamayim they don't give him parnosa. The Omrim, the argument is, who al chayav lo chas? He's not taking care of himself. He's not being careful for his own life. Ani achus alav. You want me to do more than you're going to do for yourself? You got to take care of yourself. Rabbi Shmuel Damre Tarvayu, Haiman David Milsa, a person who did bloodletting that day, Lo Leisev Hechad Dekarach Zika, you should not sit where there's wind, because Dilma Shafi Le Umna Umokim La Arivi Asa, that maybe the person who did the bloodletting only left you with enough blood to survive. And the Asi Zika, if there's a cold wind that blows by, the Shaif Mine, the Asi Lidei Sakana, it can make the blood within your body move around, moving away from your vital organs, and it can cause for life and death. So don't sit out in the wind. And in fact, says the Gemara, the following story: Shmuel have a ragil, the Avad Milsa, he's a regular as it relates to doing bloodletting, the Avad Milsa. And that day he did bloodletting, but he did it bevesa in his home, and his walls were particularly thick. To Shev Levina, he had 7 bricks ve'aricha, and 1/2 of a brick. That's how thick his walls were. And he was so sensitive to the wind that he had to make sure that he had these 7.5 bricks. Yom Echad, one time he did this, Avad ve'irgish benafshe, and then he felt different than he usually felt after bloodletting. Says the Gemara, 2 lines from the bottom, Badak v'chasar chad aricha. He saw that he was missing 1/2 of one of the 7.5. It's only 7 wide and not 7.5 wide. And he felt the difference. Rabbi Shmuel Damar Tarvayu, Haiman David Milsa, this person did bloodletting. Lito midi v'hadar lepok. First you should eat and then you should go out. Di lotai midi, if you don't eat, ipaga b'shechva yarka ape. If you bump into a dead body, your face will turn green. Ipaga b'mada katal nafsha mis. If you bump into someone who murdered someone else, mis, you're going to die. Ipaga, turning to the top of Kuf Chav Testament Beis, ipaga b'davar acher. If you bump into, Rashi says, a chazer, kasha l'davar acher. It'll be difficult for you l'davar acher. What does that mean? Rashi dibur hamastil kasha l'davar acher. The second Rashi on the page, Rashi says tzaras shechzira minu goyim heim kede amrina bekedushin yud kaven negoyim yardu l'olam tisha nitlu chazirin. And one of them is going to be for tzaras, basically speaking lashon hara. That will be you'll have the consequence as if you spoke lashon hara if you don't eat after akazas dam. Rav Shmuel damrei tarbayu haiman de Ovid Milsa. Again, the Rav and Shmuel. Again, Shmuel's a doctor. This was a very, very common, and this was in mid 200s, 220, 230, 240. This was very common in that time frame, counting of the common era. So they said after Haiman de Abin Milsa, after a person does bloodletting, lishi ports of a hadar, like you should sit and wait a little bit before you get up and walk away. The same is true. You give blood in general, you don't want to get up too fast. Says the Gemara, Amar Mar. There are 5 things that are closer to death than they are to life. And here's what they are. You eat and instantly get up. You drink and instantly get up. You sleep and instantly get up. That's also going to be quoted Gemara in Gittin Daf Ayin. We'll see that a person should not get out of bed so quickly. Hiki's dam, this is our Gemara. Person does a kazas dam, you get up too quickly. Shimish mitaso, immediately after tashmish shamita, after intimacy with one's spouse, and they stand up right away. All of these things are kroven lemisa than they are to chayim. One should be very careful to be patient in these circumstances. To make sure that they are safe. Omar Shmuel, Pursa Dedama, Kol Tlas Yom. What is the period of time at which one should do Akazas Dam? Every 30 days. Uvein Aprakim Yima'et, and during the in between you should take a break. Uvein Aprakim, what about on day 60? After you took a break, you went again, you gave more blood. Yachzor Bima, you should also wait again every 30 days, and you should wait a little bit. Omar Shmuel, Pursa Dedama Chad B'Shabsa, Arba Umale Shabsa. What days of the week should you do the Should you do the San? Should you do the Hakazas Dam? You should do it on Sundays. You should do it on Arba, is Wednesdays. Umale Shabsa, which is Erev Shabbos. Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. There's a bunch of days of the week that are missing. Obviously, you can't do Shabbos. What about Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday? So that's what the Gemara is going to ask right now. Aval Sheni v'Chamishi lo on Mondays, and on Monday, Thursdays, we don't do that. Why? The Amar Mar, because the only people who should be doing that are people who have Zechus Avos. Amar Mar said, Mishi yesh Zechus Avos yakiz dam b'Sheni v'Chamishi. Someone who has Zechus Avos should do it on those days. Shebezdin shalmala v'shalmata shavin ke'echad. On those days, that's when Bezdin, Shalmala, and Shalmata come together in Din. So if you have Zechus Avos, you can rely on Mondays, Thursdays, you can do Akazas Dam. But unless you are that person, you should not be doing that. The Tzlas of B'Shabbos of my time alone, what's the reason why you can't do it on Tuesday? We spoke about Sunday and Wednesday and Friday. Those are good days. We said Monday and Thursdays are bad days. We didn't talk about Tuesday. My time alone, what's the reason? Not Mishum Dekaim Ale Ma'adim B'Zave. Because under the astrology of Mars, things function in pairs. Rashi here has the article has a beautiful commentary here explaining what this means. Basically, it functions in pairs of days, and on those days, the Satan has more power. And this is one of those days where the Satan has more power, and therefore one should be very careful. Vishum dekaima le ma'adim bezavoy. Male shabsa nami kaimi bezavoy. We also have that's true on Friday too. The way that the pairs work out is that day 6 is also a day which is dangerous under the astrology of Mars. Answers the Gemara, Kevan Deshadu Be Rabim, Shomer P'sayim Hashem. Because that day is a very busy day. It's like in Eretz Yisrael. Nobody works on Fridays. Everyone's in the shuk, they're shopping. So because that day is such a busy day, and that's the day that people can go do Akazas Dam, so we rely on Shomer P'sayim Hashem. The application of Shomer P'sayim Hashem is not always so simple. Shomer P'sayim Hashem is in circumstances where we throw up our hands a little bit and say everything we're going to rely on Hashem, but that's not where there's otherwise evidence. To the contrary, it's where we are kind of like towing the line between that which we should be doing and should not be doing. Of course, only with a psak from a Rav do we rely on Shomer P'sayim Hashem. Omar Shmuel, Dalid Dehu Dalid, a Wednesday which falls out to be the fourth, a Wednesday which falls out to be the 4th of the month, or Dalid Dehave Arbesar, or a Wednesday that falls out to be the 14th of the month, or Dalid Dehave Dehu Esrim Ba'arba, or a Wednesday that falls out on the 24th, or Dalid, a Wednesday Deleka Arba Basre, there are not yet 4 days left in the month, Sakanta. All of those days are dangerous to do. You mamish have to be a Talmid Chacham just to know when to do. It's no Mondays, no Wednesdays, only Mondays, only Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and no Wednesdays that fall out on the 4th, 14th, 24th, or when the last. You have to be holding in Daf Kuf Chav Tes and Shabbos to just even know about Akazas Dam. Good, and there's still more limitations. Rosh Chodesh, Visheni Lo, and on the next day of Rosh Chodesh Chulsha, those days will be weak. Shlishi Lo, the 3rd day after Rosh Chodesh, Sakana. Male Yom Tava Chulsha, on Erev Yantiv, it's going to be a problem. And Male Yom Da'atzarta by Shavuos, that's Mamish Sakanta. That's for sure Asur. So many limitations here. Nowadays, we don't do Akazas Dam, but should the custom ever come back to do so, we would have a lot of halachic limitations. The Gazru Rabbanan Akulu Mala Yom Tava, and in fact, we just pointed out that by Shavuos, we have a limitation that we say it's a sakana on that day. The Chachamim extended it to all Erev Yantivs. Gazru Rabbanan Akulu Mala Yom Tava. This applies now. The rabbis extended it to all Erev Yantivs, Mishum Yom Tava Da'atzeres, because of Erev Shavuos. The Nafik Be'zika Ushmei Tavuach, because on that day there is a zika, there is a wind, and its name is Tavuach, the slaughterer. The Lo Kiblu Yisrael Torah, if the Jews had not accepted Torah upon themselves, Havu Tavach Lahu Lebisraihu Uladamayu, they would have been shechted, body and blood. A little bit more than halfway down Amar Shmuel. Achal chita v'hikis dam lo hikis ela lo osachita. You eat one thing and then you do one hakazas dam, you've done nothing, says the Gemara. But the nothing that you've done, hani mili l'rafua. You're right that you haven't done anything for yourself in regards to refuah. However, about le'okule mekil, but if it helps you to lower the volume of blood and whatever they were trying to solve, then that is still helpful. But it's not going to be a refuah for what you're hoping for. It's just going to lower the volume of blood. Hamakis dam shesil altar. The Chachamim tell us that one who does bloodletting, they should drink right away. Achila and chatzi meal. If you're going to eat food, not if, you should eat food, and it should be within the time frame of walking a chatzi meal. Walking a meal is a machlokes. Is it 18 minutes? Is it 22 and a half minutes? Is it 24 minutes? So however you hold there, let's assume you hold 24 minutes. So then a chatzi meal is 12 minutes. You have to eat within 12 minutes, whatever the shita is. Ibaya lahu, first of the longest lines, kuf chav tesmid beis. Shesila alter male, you drink right away that it's then it's helpful. Aval basar hachi, if you drink after that amount of time, whatever immediate is, then do we say kashi? Oh, dilma lo kashi v'lamal. Is it bad for you, or it's neither here or there? Answers the Gemara, take it. Second of the wide signs, eating only up to the halfway mark of the meal. Again, let's call it 12 minutes of the machmer shita. Or maybe it's a mekel shita. Eating up to that point is male. Habasar hachi, maybe after that umekame hachi, or earlier than that kashi. Maybe that's bad for you. Oh, dilma lo kashi v'lamale. Maybe it's not bad for you, or it's not good for you. Answers the Gemara there too. Take it. Machriz, Rav is going to give us a little bit of economics. Mea kari bezuza. If you can, you should buy 100 pumpkins or gourds with a zuz. Mea roshe bezuza. If you can buy 100 heads of animals with a zuz, you should. But mea sefame, if they're selling just the lips of the animals, don't buy them. It's not worth buying. Below klum. And in fact, it helps us to understand this otherwise strange story. Amar Rav Yosef ki avinan be Rav Huna yoma de mifkare be Rabbanan. The Talmidim were getting a little lazy. They didn't want to come to yeshiva. They're all slouching back in their bed. They were not, who are we to say? They're probably learning stark in their room. But they had to come to the base medrash, and they were being a little bit on the lazy side. This is the Gemara talking, not me. Amrei, the Rabbi said to them, Ha'ibna yoma disifame. This is the day of the lips. Who velo yadana ma'ikanu. We know what they were talking about until they learned the Gemara that said that lips are useless to purchase. Don't even bother. They're useless. So it was a musar. You're all sitting back in your room. You're as worthwhile. Your worth is like the lips in the market, which is something that you should never buy. Last sugya for the night: the kosher and atibor were allowed to tie the knot of an umbilical cord on Shabbos. Tana Rabban and kosher and atibor. The Tanna Kama says you're allowed to tie that knot of the umbilical cord. Rabbi Yossi Amar af chotchen, that you are allowed to even cut it. This is a segula, not one that is rational to our understanding of medicine. If one were to insulate or to bury the shilya, the placenta, that will warm up the baby. Totally not physically connected, but we don't even know exactly what it means. It's a segula of sorts in the portion, right? Amar Rashbag, benos malachim, the women who are benos malachim, tomnos b'sapalim shal shemen, they would put this placenta into a container of oil. Benos ashirim, generally wealthy people, the upper middle class, besfugin shal tzemer, they'd wrap it in wool. Benos aniyim, those who were poor, bemuchin, in little pieces of fabric. Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rabbi Baravua, Amar Rab, halacha ki Rabbi Yossi. He says we paskin like Rabbi Yossi that are even allowed to be chotech, the umbilical cord. We can even cut, not only tie. Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rabbi Baravuha, Amar Rab, modim chachamim le Rabbi Yossi. The chachamim who said you can only tie, they agreed to Rabbi Yossi b'tibor shel shnei tinokos shechotchen, that when there are twins, we are allowed twins that are connected to the same placenta. Then we are allowed. Why? My taima. Because these babies can pull in different directions and it can yank on the umbilical cords and can cause some danger. Therefore, even the strict opinion of the Chachamim that only allows kosherin and not chaticha of the umbilical cord, here when it's twins of one placenta, we would then allow even to be chotech according to both shitas. Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rabba Baravua, Amar Rab, Kola Amor Parshas Tochacha Osin Lechaya B'Shabbos. Anything that's said in the parsha of Tochacha is a pasuk, as we will soon see in Sefer Yechezkel. Osin Lechaya B'Shabbos, we can do to a woman who is in labor on Shabbos. Shene'emar, as the pasuk says, Umol dosayich b'yom huledes osach lo charas shareich uvmayim lo ruchatz lemish'i v'homlech lo humlach. I'm so happy they put this in here with volumes, with vowels. V'hochtel lo chutalt. Difficult pasuk to read even in Hebrew, even with vowels. So what does all of this mean? 4 lines from the bottom of the parak. Umol dosayich b'yom huledes. What does that mean? Mikan shemiyal denes havlad b'Shabbos. We have a pasuk that supports that we're allowed to do a birth on Shabbos. Why the Marim Makom? This is a pasuk from Nach. We don't learn Divrei Torah. But Divrei Torah and Divrei Kabbalah lo yalfina. We don't learn Dinei D'Oraisa from here. And in any ways, we don't need a pasuk because it's pikuach nefashos. I don't need a pasuk in Yechezkel to tell me that I can help a woman who's giving birth. So we have to figure out what the deeper drasha is here for another time. Lo karas shareich mikan shechoschen hatibor b'Shabbos. Here we see a pasuk that one can cut the tibor, the umbilical cord. Uvemayim lo ruchat f'mishi. That part of the pasuk means mikan sherochzen havlad b'Shabbos, so we can wash the baby on Shabbos to make sure that they're healthy. And the next thing is the homlach lo humlach, that we are allowed to salt the baby. Mikan shemolchen havlad b'Shabbos. We used to put salt on the skin to dry up extra moisture and kind of make the skin a little harder, a little bit more firm. And last but not least, that we are allowed to swaddle a child on Shabbos to make sure that they're lying properly. We did learn about this a couple of days ago about Yisuve Yenuka, about aligning the limbs. That's not this. This is a different din. And with that, we finished the parak Baruch Hashem. Hadron alach mefanin, hadron alach mefanin, hadron alach mefanin. Hiratzon. We should come right back to this page in 7.5 years. Wishing you a beautiful night.